What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Hello, and welcome back to another DudeBroDudes what is this, episode 8, I think? Nearly on the double digits.
Right.
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, like, 2 more, and we would have hit 10.
And we might be consistent. Oh.
I don't know about the consistency. Quick maths?
No promises?
I don't know about that. We'll see if we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but spicy nonetheless. And dude, I was thinking this before we started the podcast, actually. We should get another guest on soon.
Oh, man. It sounds like maybe something we should discuss after the podcast. But yeah.
No, I mean, we can throw it out there, get people, intrigued. Maybe get some comments on who people want to see on the podcast.
Ooh, actually, you're right. Valid.
See? Oh, I know what I'm talking about. Plus,
there's a head attached to your shoulders.
But never mind. I was going to make an obscene joke. Never mind. So, how's your week been thus far? It is Monday, so your past week, let's discuss.
It's been, I've been sleeping a lot lately. I don't know what it is. It's just like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let me just take a nap first, and then I just sleep through the whole day. I actually, failed on some Rainbow Six Siege plans last night because I was just asleep from, noon till 8 a.m. this morning.
Very relatable. Past 2 or 3 days, I've just overslept massively. I don't know why. Just
sleep the sad away. I mean, it's a pro strat.
I think it is, to be honest. I really do think it is. It's just
feeling depressed. Have you tried excessive sleeping?
Yeah, I kind of fucked up and I skipped a few days of taking my meds, so I was feeling out of it a bit. Stuff that wouldn't usually annoy me was annoying me, so I was like, okay, I need to take a step back.
Damn.
And then just sleeping has hopefully helped, but we'll see tomorrow. Yeah, dude, if you're on medication of any sort, make sure you take that shit, because otherwise it will fuck up your brain chemistry if you don't. And don't overdo it, because that also fucks up your brain chemistry. Even worse, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna argue that might be the worst end of that.
Yeah, it definitely is. When I first started taking them, oh dude, this is Monk S actually. But when I first started taking them, I was very anxious. So just to clarify, these are antidepressants, right? So I was taking them and I got more anxious when I was on them, but then it kind of cooled off. And then I think the first couple of weeks it was a placebo effect, right? I was like, oh, these are really helping. And then after that, it kind of dulled down. So I was having a really shit day. I think there was I'm not, actually, yeah, I won't go into it, but some bad shit was happening. So I was like, oh, I'll just take I'll take 2 today, and then I took 2 the next day instead of just 1. So that was what, 40 milligrams or some shit each day. And yeah, don't do that. It was real bad, really, really bad. Pretty sure I hallucinated at one point.
Ooh,
cannot confirm.
Yikes.
But it was very sketch.
With that, cannot confirm. Would you
I hallucinate?
Yeah.
It was just hearing sounds that weren't there, basically. Because at the time I was home alone for a weekend, I think, and I just heard footsteps and banging, but not because my house is attached to someone else's house, right? You didn't have your
certain tabs open?
so my house is connected to to another house, right? It's semi-detached, so I did consider that at first, but then I checked and their car wasn't there, so I'm pretty sure they weren't in the house. And then it was footsteps in the room adjacent to mine, so I went in. There was obviously nothing there, and it was just real trippy. I spent the rest of the day just hydrating and staying in bed because it was fucking hella weird.
But it wasn't an animal rummaging around, something like that.
No, all of my pets were gone for the weekend.
Yeah, but people will hear noises and stuff like that, and then they've got an animal in their
Well, this is what I mean. I can't confirm, right? I can just say what I heard, and I tried to discredit it and was oh yeah, my neighbors are probably there. and then checked that, and then the car wasn't there and shit like that. You know, just the standard shit. But either way, better safe than sorry. Just don't fucking do it. Don't take above the prescribed medication because it can potentially really fuck with you.
Yeah, I tend to like try to go for natural alternatives such as excessive sleeping, getting more sunlight, exercise. I haven't really been prescribed anything like that, but I also haven't taken necessary steps to go see a mental health expert. So
Mhm.
that's on me.
For sure.
It's just different in the States. Fucking healthcare costs will fuck you up.
Oh yeah, I get that. That was kind of one of the like things that kind of motivated me to do it. So I was talking to a friend at the time, um, and I tried like counseling and stuff. Like we had like free counseling services on like my university campus, right? Because obviously university is very stressful, all that kind of stuff. So I tried that. I quickly realized that counseling, for me at least, was I could literally just tell them whatever I wanted them to hear, and then like not benefit, well, kind of benefit from it. Like if I was like, oh yeah, I need like more time on a project, I could just kind of milk it in a way, like very
Yeah,
sociopath style, and just like tell them what they wanted to hear, and then just benefit from it. And
it,
when I
it
realized I was
definitely
doing that, I definitely stepped away. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that at all.
it varies. Like I definitely think that just like having someone you can talk to and like seeing someone in that manner before you consider the prescription option,
Hmm.
um you have to like go in wanting help,
Yeah,
because people
for
can
sure.
offer help and like try to find something, but you can also like equally like block yourself from receiving that help just by doing like what you did, in where you share certain information or say what people want to say instead of like actually expressing what you feel like would help you.
Yeah. There's also like, I mean, I think we said this. We might have said this last week. No, I think I said this on stream actually. Where it's a lot easier to open up to a stranger than it is to someone you know, right?
Oh, for sure. I've always been pretty solid at making friends online, but I haven't been quite a social butterfly like in real life.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just like in high school a lot. I'd find myself like confiding in strangers rather than talking to like some of my closest friends who've known me for years about like issues I was going through or what I was facing.
Yep.
Because there's that whole big like that person won't know that information about you or know you like after a certain point in time, where like with a close friend you see them on a daily basis and like opinions and things like that change.
Yeah.
So I definitely like found it a lot easier to confide online.
So like, I was talking about a very similar thing. Like, people didn't really understand where I was coming from when I was trying to discuss it, but it feels like you might understand it a bit better. So the anecdote that I kind of
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
shut
just
the
kidding.
fuck up. Dude. So the anecdote I used was, say you had a friend since like fucking kindergarten or whatever, right? And you'd grew up together.
Yeah.
Um and then you'd kind of like, as you grow you change, right? So you might have had like, you might have been really insecure when you were young, and then you kind of kept these insecurities to yourself. Um and as such you don't really talk about them with like close friends and stuff. But then it's easier to like reveal yourself to people online, not like
Yeah.
chatterbait kind of way, but more, like
Oh.
emotionally.
Oh. That's the kind of revealing ourselves we were talking about.
Yeah. Do we need to backpedal a little bit?
Oh, jeez. Have you seen the picture of my ass?
Who hasn't seen the picture of your ass at this stage?
Apparently, Ricky. Ricky hasn't.
Oh, Ricky, you're in for a treat. Let me say, there is a thong,
Uh,
and it is.
Shadow thongs you too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, I feel like as you grow, you become more like, you become to own your like insecurities and stuff, right? And it becomes easier to share stuff. Like I will talk about pretty much anything now with everyone other than like my family, um, close friends, whatever. But growing up, I wouldn't really share it with my close friends because it was like, hey, we haven't really talked about this kind of stuff before, and it's kind of like scary, right? Because you don't want to. I mean, everyone's got like their own like baggage or whatever, but you don't want to like throw that onto someone who you consider a close friend because it's scary that you're like, oh shit, what if they don't like me anymore? Like, you know, dumb like immature kind of insecurities and shit. So you kind of get used to doing it like online with like strangers who then become friends, and it becomes a lot easier. But then you grow throughout that period. So when it comes to you then talking with these like friends that you've had IRL, it's still uncomfortable because you might have not had these conversations before, but it kind of breaks down the walls a little bit, I guess. I don't know, like, so I know you've got like a friend group that you've had like since school and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do you talk about like mental health stuff and like just personal struggles with them, or?
There's like one or two people I can confide in. I don't do it often. It's more based on like if we've talked recently, maybe I'll go out and like seek them and try. But aside from that, like we have long periods of time where like everyone's living their own life. We're adults at this point. So it's like I'm not gonna burden them at this point with something if I could handle out myself. Like definitely if you have a lot more on your plate than you can handle, go out, seek that person, especially if they're a friend, they can help you or like they'd want to help you. And like it depends on there's a weird line because like if someone's unable to help you in that moment, don't take it too personally on them because everyone else is also going through their own lives. You don't know what they have on their plate as well. Like, so if they can't immediately help you or they say now's not a good time, chances are they aren't brushing you off or like undermining your like problems. But at the same time, you also don't know what they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Just like say thank you for like your time and like try to find somewhere or someone you can talk to because eventually there will be someone. Like there's always a source, whether it's someone you know or like a resource online that you can always like seek help with. So like don't think that people are like don't have time for you or anything like that. Yeah. It's so weird.
It is like you say, like I'm sure people like brush you off, and especially like one's a bit snappier than usual when like dealing with you and stuff. Like I was just saying, right? I had to like take some time to myself because I know that I become a lot more volatile if I'm in like a bad mindset and I don't want to snap at people. So I take some time back to like, you know, fix myself. And chances are, you know, if someone came to me with problems, I mean, I would try and still help them, but I'd also be mindful of if I was being a cunt and I'd be like, look, you know, I can't deal with this right now. But chances are they'll probably express that, right? And if they don't, chances are, like you say, they're just dealing with their own shit. So be mindful of that. But I also do want to stress, because I've had some personal experiences with this, that just because someone is willing to go out of their way to like help you, right? I was thinking of a sensitive way of saying it, but honestly, just don't abuse that. I think there's a pretty fine line between knowing you can talk to someone and kind of knowing that they won't turn you away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've definitely had relationships in the past. I'm not talking like, you know, like romantic, but just like, you know, relationships in general, where people would only come to me if they had problems. And they'd start with very, you know, like kind of fickle, oh yeah, hey, how are you? And then as soon as, you know, they get the pleasantries out of the way, it's bam, straight to what their issue is. And I've dealt with that. And honestly, it's really hard to kind of steer you know, turn someone away. So I definitely understand. So it's more on the case of the person, like just try not to be like, I don't want to say try not to be a dick, but maybe try not to be a dick, I guess. It's really hard though, man. Like it's hard wording it because you don't want to like completely shut someone down, because it's very important to like, if you are in trouble, like, reach out to a friend, but at the same time measure the level of, like, it's like what you were saying earlier, right? Like, problems that you can deal with on your own.
Yeah.
Like, if there's stuff that you can deal with on your own, hog. But try not to overexert someone. Like, don't take kindness for granted, is basically what I'm trying to say.
A big thing to understand, I want to say, is like, your friends will always be your friends, and they'll be there for you, and they'll try as much as they can. But at the end of the day, your friend is probably just someone who can only share from their experiences. They might not be able to empathize or sympathize to the same effect as what you're looking for. But there's also probably hundreds of thousands of professionals who took time to study the field and like
Yes.
understand how to approach certain things better. So if you feel like your friend is unable to help you, or as a friend you feel like you're unable to help someone with an issue they're going through, just recommend the professional help. Because like, even if there's not like there's a financial reason or something like that, they're trying to avoid it. Because I know in like the United States, health, mental health, physical health, it's hard to find resources for free. But like, online, there's numbers you can call, there's hotlines, there's different resources you can go to always, like, someone will be there 24/7, and there's always something you can look up, or someone who's gone through a similar situation who can share their story and help motivate you.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, right? It's like, just know the difference and know the limitations between friends and professional help. Your friends will always try their best, but they're not a resource, whereas professional help is, I guess. It's more like friends are luxury? Is that the right? Not really, right? I don't know what word I'd use
I
instead.
wouldn't say friends are a luxury. I wouldn't really like say that it's like a commodity either. I think that's more or less what you were going for.
I don't know.
I just say like there's limitations to it, but not in a way that you think, oh, my friend's only good for X, X, and X. Like, it's a weird subject. But I think the just moral we're going for is, you'll always have your friends who would want to talk to you and help you. There's limits to that, but not because of how they value their friendship. It's just how they could help. And there's always professional help, where it seems like it's like, oh, I don't think it's that big of an issue or something like that.
Yeah.
It's, at the end of the day, if you personally feel like you're at a point where you need help, there are people who are willing, even it's their job even, to do that. Like, they spend time to study, go to school just to try to help people. So always utilize any resource you can, but utilize it correctly, and don't abuse it.
One thing I'd like to say as well, I'm gonna, actually no, I'll just do this. Never mind. So I'm gonna provide a link in the description, to a guy called Dr. K. He is a Harvard, professor, or he's Harvard faculty, he's a psychiatrist who focuses on addiction. I believe he has like an addiction clinic. But he's also on Twitch.
Oh, was this the Forsen thing you sent me?
Wreckful.
Or was it Forsen?
I'm offended
yeah.
that you got that wrong.
Oh man.
But
Oh, man. Oh,
he's called like Healthy Gaming GG, I think, on Twitch. Either way, I'm gonna get it wrong, but the descriptions, sorry, the link's in the description. He is fucking phenomenal, honestly. Really cool guy. He went to like India and he like studied with monks, and he spent like several years wanting to become a monk because he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. And he went over there and he like studied all these like kind of Eastern practices and like meditation and stuff like this. And then he came back to America, and he was like an average like C to B, CB student basically. and then he put himself through medical school because he knew that he wanted what he wanted to do now through like all of his experiences in the East, and now he's a fucking Harvard professor. And he basically, his Twitch channel is focused around dealing with people like mental illness, focused around gaming and like gamers, because he's been a gamer his whole life, and he spoke to his peers at Harvard, and he asked them about gaming, and they made like some very like strange comparisons, like when he got their opinions on it, and he was like, "Oh shit, no offense to these people because they're excellent in their field, but they haven't got a fucking clue what they're talking about when it comes to gaming, because they're like they're like 50, they've never picked up a game in their life." And he's used his like own personal experiences and his knowledge of like meditation and stuff to kind of help people. And then the case that you brought up, he had a video with Wreckful, which kind of blew up his channel. And now he's spoken to all these like big streamers like Destiny. I don't know who else, but he's had quite a few people on, and I've mainly only watched the Wreckful ones. But Wreckful, he's basically brought him out of depression, and this guy's been depressed for like 20 plus years, and he's brought him out of it. And it's been quite transformative just to watch, and super helpful resource. Like I say, I'll throw his YouTube and his Twitch in the bio, the description even. If anyone's interested, go check it out.
That's some commitment right there.
What's the bio?
Like,
where's that from? That's
dude,
like
yeah.
Instagram
like
or
my
some
Twitter
shit?
bio, Instagram bio, description bio, yeah, like
the section where you read shit, it'll be there.
Yeah, y'all are about to be in a relationship, throwing his name in your bio like that and shit.
Oh
damn.
shit, dude! We're about to be YouTube. What was the thing? Like Facebook official? That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We're about to be
YouTube. Oh,
YouTube
man.
official. Oh,
Okay,
baby.
boomer.
Right. Do you know what? Right. Speaking of OK Boomer, do you know how sad it is? Every time we go into the anime house in VR chat, we have to click OK Boomer to get in. It's so depressing.
I don't care. I'm more or less speed running through that so I can mute the intro video.
Yeah, dude, you can do it in that room. You can just turn down the volume. You don't have to pause it. Just turn to your left, and there's like a console.
Yeah,
we learned something amazing, by the way.
Ooh, do tell.
Right. So, well, I'm hyping it up, but in the in VR chat, we have like an anime apartment where we go in. It's just like a, kind of
apartment with the viewing.
Yeah,
TV
it's just a nice little chill apartment.
Rooftop theater.
And it's just got an anime library, and we can just go there,
Fully
sit on the
stocked
couch, watch stuff. It's great.
Bedroom with the ceiling mirrors.
Oh yeah,
when
you can get
like check out your avatars
from above. And anyway,
okay.
And on the couch there was two buttons, right? There's toggle colliders, and there's toggle seats.
Toggle seats, yeah.
Toggle seats we figured out, where you just click and then it teleports you into the seat.
You can just walk through.
No, do you know what the colliders are?
What?
You click it, it enables, and then there's two like little boxes next to it, next to the seat, where it's like an arrow, and then it's like one's white and one's grayed out. You click it, and it raises the level of the seat, and it adds books. So when you're a really small avatar, you can sit on the pile of books so you're eye level.
Oh man,
it's
that's
so
a game
good.
changer.
It's so good.
I was playing a big boy Squirtle, like real bulky buff Squirtle, and I was like, "This is gonna be an unfortunate time. I guess I'm just watching from the stairs." Like,
yeah, we got some spicy avatars. Oh, dude, do you know what else we figured out? You have facial expressions.
Every avatar?
Not every, but a lot of them. So ones that I've had for a long time had facial expressions. I didn't realize. And you enable them with a combination of shift and then the function keys from F1 to F8. And it's sick because like left shift plus function 1 to function 8 are like the default expressions, right? But they're not necessarily expressions, but I'll go into that in a sec. And then the right shift, you can combine them. So you can combine like left shift F3 and left shift F7 and some shit, and they like make a hybrid. But some of them, so you know my Mr. Krabs one, right?
Yeah.
So I've got a Mr. Krabs avatar with like a fucking global emote that makes everyone like zoom in and shit. It's hilarious.
I hate those so much.
Instead of expressions, I've got different modes. So I turn into like a robot Mr. Krabs, and I'm just spinning, and I can just like dance around and play music.
Yeah.
My face on another one, my face disappears, and then there's just this like, I'm pretty sure it's just like a. I can't now. I'm not describing it, but you'll see for yourself. It's creepy as fuck though. And then there was another one, but I can't. I think it's just like dancing, but instead, you know how when you do an emote, you can just cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
These don't cancel. You stay in the animation, so you can just walk around with like the music playing and dancing and stuff.
Hey.
They're actually really good. I'm surprised at the quality of them. I'm impressed. VR chats, it's just a way of life, dude. I really want VR now. It's not even funny. It's
The thing is, the way VR chat's been playing out for me, it's more or less like I don't know enough of it where I'd have like okay, I can sit down and have a gaming session of playing VR chat and like knowing which worlds I want to go to and have an enjoyable time. I mostly now use it just for like the anime worlds, meet up with friends, and just like relax, watch some shows.
mm-hmm.
But playing VR chat has like scratched that like bug bite where like if you haven't scratched it in a while, it just sort of like goes away and you forget about it. But then you scratch it again, and it's like, oh baby, I want to come back and like do something else. It's done that for me for like role playing, and like recently, Ken has been playing a lot of GTA. So that's like the other like element I've been leaning towards. And you got me into GTA some more, and then you this morning hit me with a server you're thinking about checking out.
Yeah, so I got recommended a channel, like Twitch, good job by the way with the recommended channel thing. It was like recommended me a GTA RP channel. And it wasn't like, you know, the typical, like when you typically get recommended.
Yeah, no pixel.
And it's like no pixel is like the top tier one. And it's just like everyone's got like thousands of viewers, and it's, you know, super like intense. Well, not intense, but like it would be intimidating to jump into that world, right? Because everyone there is already like so established and shit. It'd be super intimidating. But this server, I believe it's relatively new. It seems to be very active, or at least from what I was watching, the person had maybe less than 30 viewers. But there was so many of them. Like, I want to say like 20 plus people, and they were like doing some like weird gang, like they all had like fucking unicorn masks and suits on, like they were about to rob a bank or some shit. I don't know, I didn't stick around too much for the RP, I'll be honest. But I looked on the site, and the site looked interesting. The rules were pretty bog standard, but it was like everyone can like apply for jobs and shit on there, but you have to get whitelisted, and that's the one thing I'm not too sure of.
For certain jobs, I feel like.
What do you mean for certain jobs?
Right, like they want like their officials and stuff like that to be trusted. Like if you're a police officer, you need to be like compliant. But I feel like that's only specific jobs. Because I was looking through the server too. I think you could be like a bog standard citizen and stuff like that without getting whitelisted.
Well, can you? You have to have a job though, right? On the thing, you can't like be a bum. Like you have. I can't role play me. I can't role play me in GTA.
Just roleplay a streamer and just stay in your apartment all day.
Just never leave. I could do that for sure. But yeah, I was wondering. I mean, because I guess that's the only way to like legit make money unless you're doing illegal activity. But that was one rule I saw on the server that I didn't really like, where it was like, oh, you need to have a balance between legal and illegal activity.
Really?
Which, I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, it makes sense. But I don't know, it feels like it's a bit too restrictive.
It forces you down, yeah. I'd like to play a just straight up good character.
Yeah, I'd probably be a good dude as well. Like being a cop, I feel like would be kind of fun. Cause like I'd have no intention of like law enforcement in real life, but I feel like in a game it'd be kind of fun.
I don't know. Like I tend to watch more of the cop-sided roleplay streams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it's like really interesting because like watching the cop side of things, you get to see a lot more variety in the criminal side of things.
That makes sense.
That's like a little bit of the best of both worlds. You get to see more interactions versus like when you watch a non-cop sided thing, you just see like one person and their like unlawful deeds and their like prep and things like that.
So
But you
who
get
do
like
you
more spice
watch?
of life.
Who do you watch
I think
specifically?
recently it's been a lot of Immortal HD. He has two characters that he mostly switches between. One's like a officer, one is like crime, just like a street thug, I'd say at this point.
Mhm.
And then ever since I caught a glimpse of one character, I watch nothing but Milton Pike. I think it's like Milton T1 Pike or something like that. I mostly watch like I follow, so I don't really look at the name, but I more or less know them as Kiki Chanel. That character has some flavor, let me tell you.
That name actually rings a bell. Are they on No
Yeah,
Pixel?
yeah, for sure. They're
Yeah,
on
I
no
think
Pixel.
I think they've played with Mel before. Do you know who Melba is?
No, but they played with Shroud when he was on it, and that's like how I actually found Kiki Chanel.
Rip Shroud on Twitch. But yeah, I think you'd really like Melba. The Twitch username is Starboy, and he he's part of Prune Gang, right? So Prune Gang's just a bunch of the OAP criminals in the game, and Mel is my personal favorite. He's just his voice for one is hilarious, but he's just so random and funny. It's between him and like Eugene, which I think is Vader. I think his Twitch name is. Eugene's like the biggest Prune Gang member, but there's a bunch of them. I'll send you some clips after this, but oh my word, they crack me up something fierce. I got introduced to I already knew Melba before like all the big streamers went over to GTRP, but when Tim the Tatman jumped over, he played with Gladys, who is like she's like stereotypical just grandmother, like ghetto as fuck, and she's just fucking amazing, dude. She's
Like
actually
a sweet
the
hood
best.
grandma.
Yes, yes, and she's amazing, absolutely amazing. There's she was it was like her and Tim, and then she was like trying to rob someone's like taxi from them, and she just pulls out a baseball bat, and then Tim just runs up in the background and just kicks the bumper like America, and he just like fucking drop kicks it. Oh, it was some good shit. Some good shit. GTA RP is the best, man. So funny. And I really do want to get involved with it. Just to like test the waters a bit, because we've had like one very limited experience.
I've been trying to push Ken into playing it, but he said, like, I do agree with Ken's point. Like, for how he plays video games, doing role play is very restricting because you're sort of like forced to build around that one character. Because you do need to specifically play like one character starting off to really build them up and create the universe around them. But the way he likes to handle Grand Theft Auto is like sort of how I like to play it now, where it's not hardcore roleplay, but you still like treat yourself as the character at times. Like you get to break the screen and not break the screen, but like break that third wall.
Fourth wall,
And
but yeah.
no, third wall. You literally jump through like the Kool-Aid Man. And yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You break the fourth wall and sort of like just get to be yourself as well. So I like the hybrid style because it is more free.
I
You
mean,
can
that's a
like
good
make mistakes
introduction,
and things
right?
like that. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I think Ken was getting clothing, and I rolled up with my new pimped out whip. While he was in the store, he walks out. I was like, "Bro, can you take some photos for me?" And like, I started messing around with like the remote control options for your cars, like popping the hood, putting on the engine while I was outside, and like rap squatting in the front and sliding across and stuff like that. I was just taking some photos, so I actually got to get some of those, and maybe throw them on the gram. But
Dude, we forgot to do that. That was something that we were gonna get Harley to do, right? We were gonna do like an Instagram page of just GTA shit. We should do that. We actually should
we need
do
to bring
that.
it back.
So we're finna play some GTA 5 after podcast? Question mark?
Yeah, I'm down. I gotta play some Siege. Because I messed up and fell through on some plans yesterday. I do have to play some Siege tonight, but
Oh, we got time. I can't go full Monty past 10 p.m. anyway because I gotta keep him in check.
I'm sad because Ken's like out of town this weekend, and I really want to get him on board with it. And, like,
yeah, he went to see.
around him.
He went for a concert, right? Like deadmau5.
Yeah, I think deadmau5 5.
deadmau5. I hate you for that.
You can't convince me that's how deadmau5 should be pronounced. Like,
I'm
there's
not gonna
no
argue
E at the
it.
end. A 5 is in an S. It's deadmau5.
I'm not gonna argue it. I'm not gonna argue it.
I used to be big into EDM back in high school, but I think that was when the thing is like dubstep was blowing up. It's probably different for you because you're from like the UK, so just overall environment change.
I've always been into it. A lot of the people that I meet, especially like people that I've dated, have just never been into it. They're like, this is just noise. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a big sad boy vibe as well, because sometimes you don't need like sad lyrics and shit. Sometimes you just want to stop thinking. And I feel like EDM is great for that because it just fucking scrambles your brain, but it makes you feel a certain way. I don't know.
I had a friend who was like trying to understand why people liked EDM, and he said it's because most of those songs tend to have a perfect tuned instrument because it's digitally created. So like the inconsistencies of like real life performance where everything's not at that perfect like standard tuning 440 like hertz or whatever it is. So like people resonate with electric music, like those who like it appreciate for that. And I can sort of agree with it because like when I've listened to EDM, I tend to like more of like the melodic stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do with like growing up with like 8-bit video games and their soundtracks and things like that as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been on a kind of 8-bit remix vibe the past like week or so.
Ooh, you should listen to some Anamanaguchi. They're bit.
Yeah, you can hook me up after this.
Yeah,
sure.
I was trying to think of the genre. I think it's bit or chiptune.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
term.
Gotcha. Yeah. I've been listening to like all the like Nintendo stuff because obviously, let's just face it, Nintendo and like Square Enix had like the best music growing up.
Oh my god.
Pretty much.
I mean, that was just childhood for me.
Yeah, exactly.
That being said, I was very late to the Pokemon scene.
How late are we talking?
Like, my parents were like super religious and Pokemon Pocket Monsters. I think I've talked about this before, but like, so I wouldn't be like, they would never buy me a Pokemon game. I would have to like get it from like cafeteria, like recess trades and things like that. And like,
it sounds like when I imagine that, I literally just think of the Disney show Recess.
Yeah,
just like the hustler kid just whipping out his jacket, like, yo, which one do you want?
Yeah, so there's like this period in time in which I like had this imaginary game that me and my friend created, and we sort of like hustled two kids into giving us free stuff for like points or clout in the game.
An imaginary game.
Yeah. Where there's different ranks and kids would just give us stuff to like rank them up.
The theft.
No.
Extortion.
Microtransactions.
Basically the same thing.
Look, I'm just saying the game might not have flew in the Netherlands, but
oh my god.
You know, it was a pretty sweet deal though. I got like, we would get like some bubble gum and shit like that, and, like video games. Like I got the whole Age Odyssey sets and Pokemon games. It wasn't a bad deal.
I see. So you were literally just running a like underground black market for games where they, in return, they receive fictional credit, like street cred. Basically, so oh yeah, you got like 5. How much will this game give me? That's like 5 XP. What about this one?
Yeah, and they were like completely arbitrary ranks too. Like me and my friends would like struggle to make up the rank each morning. Like we were like, oh shit, you leveled them up to this, I guess I'll make this rank.
Oh no.
It was really bad, but we had a blast with it. Yeah, I was a little bit of a dickhead.
Who wasn't
Yeah.
it? Kids are just cunts in general. I know that I for sure stole Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was younger.
Oh
For
man.
sure. And it was like it wasn't even subtle. It was like we had a system where I would be the person to go up to them and be like, "Oh, can I see which cards you've got?" And then I'd look at all their cards, and
Yeah.
then someone would knock the cards out of my hand, and then I'll be like, "Oh mate, I'm so sorry, this guy's a twat." And then I'd try and like pick them up, and then my friends would also be trying to pick them up, but they'd also be like swiping the good ones, whilst I'm like
Yeah.
actually gathering them, and then we'd kind
That's
of.
so fucked. Yeah.
It was definitely fucked. I was a young criminal, and I've atoned for my sins.
At least I created digital content. I made a game. I was slightly creative.
To be fair, the one guy that we like started this little criminal organization towards he was a cunt and he deserved it. I actually ran into him in later life as well, and he brought it up, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god, he probably listens to this podcast.
He's for sure emotionally scarred, but
He can't trust again. You've ruined every foreseeable relationship that man will ever have.
he ruined my Yu-Gi-Oh rep. Okay, I was undefeated in my like I don't know what you'd call it, like junior high, I guess it'd be in America. I was undefeated in Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, I was top dog, and then this guy battles me, and he's got like half of his cards are like fucking Japanese, and I was like. He was using them, and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck does this do? I can't read it." And he was like, "Oh, I can read it. It means you have to get rid of like all of your cards." And I was like, "That's bullshit." And like, this wasn't a time when we had like
Phones.
I'm gonna sound
yeah.
so boomer right now, but this isn't a time when I could literally Google what the card effect was. So
Yeah.
we just had to take this man at his word, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you lost. You can read Japanese." Like, just like, where were his credentials? He literally just said, "I can read Japanese," and everyone fucking bought it. And what it was a oh my god, what's the card?
Oh, you're so scarred if you remember the card.
I can remember it was like 4-star bug or something. Yeah, here it is. No. 4-starred Ladybug of Doom. And the actual effect is it's a flip effect, and he just played it face up. Just want to throw that out there, cheater. So so for those of you who have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, when you set a card, you place it face down in defense mode. When it's flipped, it's when it gets attacked, and it's the stats are revealed. Or you can just manually flip it, which you didn't do either. And then when the effect is, when it's flipped, destroy all level 4 monsters your opponent controls. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I had a Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field. That is not 4-star. And then my cards in my hand, I don't know what they were, to be honest. But this was bullshit. And I lost the game because of this card, and he cheated. And Renato, if you're out there, you're a cheating fuck. That's all I'm going to say.
Bro, are you salty?
You might have to take over a minute. I need to calm down.
So yeah, I was actually like, I was chilling in Prone's chat, and he was talking about like older shows, how he like never really watched Digimon. He was playing Temtem, and everyone's like, "Oh, isn't this Pokemon? Or is this want to be Pokemon?" I was like, "Nah, it's want to be Digimon." He said, oh, "I've never watched that, but I used to watch some Yu-Gi-Oh back in my day." And I feel like even if you've never played Yu-Gi-Oh in your life, there's a period where you watched a little bit of it, right? Like, let's be
Dude,
real.
Yu-Gi-Oh holds up. Like, unless you're trying to learn how to play the game, don't watch the show, because the rules
they don't follow
are definitely
any rule.
the rules are completely different.
I learned that real fast, but I'm thinking about maybe playing through like a Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Oh,
I'm leaning
Memories.
I'm leaning towards GX Duel Academy. I thought I had an interesting time. You don't like Duel Academy?
No, I just remembered that was your like username when I first met you. It was like
Yu-Gi-Oh GX Duel Academy for the Game Boy Advance. Copyright 1996 by the young Takahashi himself. Like, yeah.
And you had Jaden as like a shocked expression as your fucking display picture.
I completely have forgotten until I like started looking into it again. That show had a fucked storyline.
What, GX?
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't really watch that much GX. I knew like early on that he had like Clayman and Bubbleman and shit, and then I got really into Heroes, like the archetype, because I've been a Heroes player since I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh like properly.
Yeah.
So I got into all that shit, but I never really watched the show, honestly. I think when GX came out, it was around the time that... Was it around the time Beyblade was a thing, actually? No, I might be wrong on that.
I've never watched an episode of Beyblade in my life. I loved playing with them.
Beyblade was actually pog.
So you've actually watched Beyblade, but you didn't tell me about Beyblade Jesus. I'm shocked. Or Moses.
I feel like Beyblade Moses was a more recent development.
If you guys don't know what Beyblade Moses is, please Google it. Like, just take time out of your day in a professional environment and just Google Beyblade Moses.
It really is worth it.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but I kind of want to describe what it is.
I mean, we can throw it on screen.
True. Alright, so since throwing it on screen, it's just pretty much like a JoJo-esque looking Moses, part in the Red Sea with a Beyblade he ripped.
Yeah, he ripped a fat one, and it was...
nice.
It was pretty wild. Literally parts the Red Sea. Hot take on biblical references.
Dude, we're 2 for 2 in weeks in biblical references. We gotta tone it down a bit.
Dude, what was a biblical reference last week?
Samson cutting his hair and me being in full mustache form.
Oh, right. That one went completely over my head when you said it. I just kind of was like, But I had no fucking clue.
That's 100% what it was.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I don't know. So, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy, sort of has this, like, it's like, it seems like a school at first where it's like, hey, this is how you become a better duelist. You start off in, like, the low-tier school, obviously, underdog plot line. And you're like, oh, this makes sense. You meet this, like, girl who's part of, like, the snotty, like, best class, but then she turns out to be anime waifu for that series. And then it, like, sort of goes into, like, her backstory, and it finds out that, like, her brother went missing at the academy, and she's, like, she actually went there to, sort of, what's it called? Find out the backstory of that. And then more students start missing. And it turns out it's like the main character is actually just an asshole who like banishes people from existence because like this like weird demon thing.
Wait, Jaden does?
Yeah. So apparently Jaden's like part of the villain or something like that. It's something to do with like an ex-girlfriend. I haven't really followed it up, but I'm thinking I might watch it just to explain this.
This is some Doki Doki shit, dude.
Don't spoil that for me. I haven't watched it yet or finished it.
Doki Doki?
Yeah.
Have you actually not? I thought you watched Harley play it.
No.
Oh, dude, you have to play it. Like, very soon.
So here's the thing. I 100% started it. And I didn't end up finishing it because, what was it? Because I played with friends, and each character would have their own line, but I had to stream it, so like there was a little bit of latency in like me going to the next slide and them starting to read it, so it became a long process. And everyone had their own voice.
It's a solitary experience. You don't want to do it with friends.
But it was way more fun with the separate voices. Like I was the best Natsuki, alright?
I feel like it's a much more impactful thing if you do it solo. And it's a short game as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
I spent like 8 hours playing it or something.
Well, yeah, because you were playing with friends and each reading a fucking line at a time.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Pretty sure Harley beat it in a stream. And he streams for like, what, 5 hours?
Maybe.
Pretty sure.
Harley's been cutting down on the night streams, and I'm low-key sad about it. It's like, he was my one go-to at work when like everyone's already done streaming. I'm like, oh man, we're getting over the hump, like a 1 o'clock night stream for me or something like that, or like 3 in the morning.
I'm actually okay with it because I never could catch a night stream because it was like,
but like
the very few hours that I was asleep was the night stream times.
That's selfish.
Your reason's equally as selfish, okay?
No.
Don't put me on blast, you freaking hypocrite.
No. You're happy he doesn't do it because you would miss it versus I'm sad that he doesn't do it because I actually miss it.
Yeah.
Like, I miss him doing it versus you not being able to watch it.
We're on the same page. Just
no, you can watch
two sides of the same coin.
No, you can watch VODs.
Who the fuck watches VODs? Like, come on, like.
What? I definitely have done that. I watch a lot of
I've
Valve.
only ever watched VODs if there's like someone's told me about like a hot streamer, and then I gotta see for myself. That's the only time I've ever watched VODs.
I've definitely
Actually, no,
watched...
tell a lie. I've definitely watched. I think I actually watched Doki Doki, the VOD. I did. Yeah, I tell a lie. I watched Harley play Doki Doki in the VOD. I'm a dirty liar. Confirmed.
Actual. I watched Val beat Sekiro recently.
Is he beating it now?
Yeah, well, he sort of cheaped out the first time. To technically satisfy the bet, he went with the quote unquote bad ending.
Okay.
In which you just like sort of side with the owl. So yeah, he definitely cheesed the fuck out of that. But he actually started liking the game midway through.
Was he the door was opened to the third dimension and now he can't go back to 2D?
Alright, shut the fuck up.
Dude, that's what do you mean? That's what it is. Like, he's so good at like 2D platformers, and then you put him in a 3D world and he was like, what the fuck is this?
No, he didn't like boss games because he didn't think there was mechanics to it aside from just like learn the boss, that's it. He didn't think they were like difficult, etc. He plays games like Tenchu, where it's like stealth based. You just know a very limited scope of Val.
Okay. But when I was talking to him, he was like, "This even if I beat this game, it's not an achievement." He was like discrediting it when he was like struggling on the horse boss. He was like, "Yeah," no, he was like, "Yeah, no, this isn't an achievement."
Speed running it.
Is he actually?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
I think it's very interesting because he actually met some cool people in the Sekiro, sort of like community. Because Val isn't the type to just play a game blind, figure it out, and get the intricacies of it. He'll look up every cheesy possible way to do something the easiest way that benefits him.
Yeah.
So he's made a lot of friends out of it, and they're pretty cool.
I mean, to be honest, him getting into just the Souls community in general would be pretty good, right?
Yeah, but then like that's the curse that most speedrunners have, where they end up becoming a distortion.
What do you mean by becoming a distortion?
Or like distortion's just the face of Souls speedrunning, like the more well-known one.
Okay.
Where it's just like, all right, now I'm stuck to Souls games. The thing I like about Val speedrunning is they're pretty much similar in the games, but then he does have some like weird pocket picks that he speedruns that people don't really know about.
You should, yeah. I mean,
I am
the God Gamer Gauntlet is like the big one, right? And then he should, yeah. I'd like to see him speedrun something that's a bit more. I don't want to say niche. Like, I think it's important to a game with like nostalgia values. I think is a really good game to speedrun, right? That's why people love watching like Metroidvanias or like Pokemon speedruns and stuff like that. Like, I've never used a fucking X item in Pokemon in my life, and then I watched someone do like, I think it was Pokemon, it was Gen 3, it was either Emerald or Ruby, I can't remember, and they speedran it in the latest GDQ, and it was so interesting. Like, it was hella fun to watch.
I like watching GDQ because it gives me, a casual player, like tips and tricks and little like knowledge and like fun facts, trivia facts of games that I already play.
I'd never speedrun a game though, but it's so interesting to watch.
Yeah, I don't technically speedrun. I mean, I have like one submission on SRC, but it's more of just like a meme.
It's a meme because no one knows what game it is.
Yeah.
But I can remember like, one of the first times I met you, you were like, "Yeah, I'm actually trying to get a community going for this game."
Yeah, that sort of didn't work well. Most of our community knows about the game now, and it's like more of a meme in our community. But like, there's people who are like, "I absolutely refuse to play it," and there's people who played through it, and there are people who are like, "I'll add it to my channel points as a form of torture."
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like when it came out, I was really full swinging on it and wanted there to be a thing. And then the one person who actually like considered seriously running it and made like a post and things like that ended up just like removing their presence from the internet.
Yeah.
So like records of that disappeared as well. But I swear I wasn't the only person to run it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You fucking asshole.
Oh, dude. I just. Would you move country? Just
Oh,
random table. Would you
on a
move
whim?
country? Not necessarily on a whim. I don't know. Like, what would it? One, does just moving country interest you? And two, what would it take for you to move country?
Oh, one, yes, two, financial stability.
And
Like
then,
moving's not a problem. Having the money to sustain moving and like a job lined up, etc., would be the driving factor. Like I'd move anywhere that like interested me if I was able to have a job that could sustain it. Like,
the reason
and
I bring it up is I know whenever I've like,
dude, I'm single, but I'm not switching teams yet. All right. Well, we might cross this path later, but
wait, what do you mean?
over here talking about yo coming to England, let me slide. Like,
Oh my, right? No, no. Shut up! Don't out me. Right. So basically, when I've had partners in the past where I was like, yo, let's just like on a whim. Well, not necessarily on a whim, but yeah, like if I was like talking about the future and stuff with them, I was like, oh, where do you want to live? Like, where would their ideal place to live be? And I was like, I don't want to live in the UK anymore. Or if I did, I wouldn't want to move. I wouldn't want to live like where I live right now, you know. Um, and then they've just been like, no, yeah, I want to live like near my family, which is understandable, but I've never been in that mindset personally. Like when I went to university, I was like, which is the university that has got the best course but is also the furthest away from home, so my parents can't like just come up on a whim at like every weekend and come see me, you know. um
Mhm.
and then like when I've had jobs, like I've not been picky on where they were. I'd just be like, yeah, you know, as long as I've got the job, I'll live wherever. I don't really care. And I find it kind of refreshing just to move to a new place, you know, explore new stuff. I've lived in some shitholes as well, but honestly,
Is that why
even
you're
when
into anal?
so even though I've lived in some shitholes, they have a certain appeal to them. Like you find the
Mm-hmm.
charm almost. It's like Gotham, right? I compare a lot of places to Gotham because it's like, yeah, the crime rate
It's
will be
getting
like super
attacked
high.
constantly. Yeah.
So the crime rate will be like pretty high, and you know you'll fear for your life every like couple of months. But if you get to like know the people, like on your like I don't know, it feels very like community based almost.
Gotham?
At least the places where I live. Like, so I lived in a place called Middlesbrough, which is an absolute shithole. And illegal activities definitely went on. I won't go into like there was one night in particular where there was ambulances all on our street, and there was just a man. I don't know if he was dead. Have you ever watched Cool Runnings?
Yeah, obviously.
And it's like Sankey, you dead? Question mark. I took a
Yeah.
Snapchat of this guy and I was like, Sankey, you dead? Because he was literally out cold on the floor and there was two ambulances on either side of him. And no one knew what went off. I think he might have just been like drunk or whatever. But there was just a lot of illegal activity on the street. And you know, if you were opposed to them, you know, you're gonna have a problem. But if you're like, yo, what's good? How you doing? You just say hello to them when you're walking down the street and whatever. I didn't even engage it. Like they just say hello to me. They'd just be like, "You alright? How you doing, man?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, I'm good. How are you?" You know, just like local pleasantries, and then you just feel quite safe in that environment. I don't know what it is, but then you go like into the areas that you don't know, and it's like, "Oh shit, this is kind of scuffed." Anyway, tangent. But yeah, my exes were always like, "No, you know, they want to live near family," and I personally have no issue just moving, not even necessarily far away, but like far, like to a different country at least, right? Not necessarily like fucking Australia.
Mhm.
I would never move to Australia, by the way.
I'd consider it.
Nah, man, the spiders and shit. I'm not about it.
Yeah, but once you get used to it, it's just sort of like it's fine. It's community.
Nah,
They have a great social web.
I hate you for that.
Yeah, you didn't think I could spin that one?
Oh, Nookie, please.
I have stated before, not with like anyone who's probably heard it or remembers it, but yeah, there's a idea that if I did move somewhere new, either like a new city or a new state, new country, even, I would want to become a regular at a diner. That was something that always appealed to me.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's like something quaint, reliable. Like after work, you just go to the diner, you enjoy your day, get your
That's
cup of
very
coffee or
American.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's very, yeah.
That and I've always wanted to go on one of those like European trains that goes through the country and you get your own little cabin and just like drink tea, some Harry Potter shit. Like,
Oh, I'm down.
yeah.
I'm down. Let's do it. Do the fuck? Oh, what's the really famous one called?
The Darjeeling Limited?
I don't know. Something Express.
Polar?
That's a movie, right?
I mean, the Darjeeling Limited was also a movie.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a Wes Andy film, Real Sad Boy.
I'd be down for some shit like that. I just want to experience other cultures, man. Because I experience other cultures through talking to people on Twitch.
Yeah.
But it's just like through a looking glass, right? Like you don't experience it yourself.
Isn't that pretty much what we do in VR chat at this point?
Is it?
Just experiencing other worlds and cultures.
I mean, pretty sure we just watch anime, but
Yeah. That's the meme. No, I'm kidding. I definitely went to like a few worlds. Like I went to like one Asian themed like temple area with the fireworks, and that was pretty cool. And it had like ambient music that was fitting to the area.
I went to an Avatar world that just had like Slav models. Oh, I went to a Lego world. It was like a Lego Avatar world, and it had Lego Slav men. But it didn't have any good dances or emotes, so I got rid of it.
Do you ever like find your? Do not do this at home, by the way. Do you ever find yourself like we've been lighting candles lately? It's
Yeah,
like
it's
real
been
calming, soothing experiences.
count as
You
the
ever
sad
find
boy
yourself just, like,
season.
play in with the lighter?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah, don't burn anything down. Use lighters the way they were intended, but we won't. And yeah,
I've got several. I've just got like the standard, just like clicky lighters. I also have a what they like jet fuel lighter, whatever the fuck it's called. You know, like no, not the Zippo. I do want the Zippo's like the flip one though, right?
Yeah.
I'd love a
Butane
Zippo.
lighters?
Yeah. I'd love one of those. But I've got one that's like a really like thick tank, and then you just press it, and it's like, do you know how the flame usually all flickery and stuff? This isn't like that. It's a blue flame, and it's like to a tip, like almost like the thing that you like weld metal together with.
A torch.
Yeah, it's like
But you
that.
guys call torches like fucking flashlights.
Yeah, we do. But yeah, it's like one of those. I can't remember what they're called. I just called it the jet thing, or a lightsaber. Speaking of the rough area that I used to live through, there was one night where I was walking back from a friend's house after getting super blazed.
A friend, the popular RuneScape streamer.
Yes, and I was super blazed, and I was tripping major balls, and I just had this lighter in my pocket. And like a lighter's dangerous when it's got like two safety mechanisms, and I just had both safety mechanisms off, and I was like, I swear to God, if anyone tries to mug me, I'm gonna like melt their eyeballs because I'm not about to get mugged.
That's a very slow way to deal with a mugger.
What, melt their eyeballs?
You're gonna have to like get in close with a flame, have them not swat it out, and just
no, you cannot swat out this flame. It's like a windproof lighter.
Hope that the searing like starts to take effect before they can respond to you.
Oh, it for sure will. But I think it would be like, it's one of those things where it's so hot that it feels cold at first. It's definitely not that hot, but I like to.
That wouldn't be my my go-to method for dealing with mugging.
What would yours be?
It depends on if I have anything that can be used as a weapon at the time.
Well, this is what I
and
mean.
then-
Like, I travel very light, typically. It'd be like my bag with like my sketchbooks and stuff, and then it'd just be a lighter,
Dude,
and that'd be it.
You give them a fucking terrible paper cut.
Not with sketch paper. I mean, it's kind of
You-
hard
you
because
really
the
just gotta,
paper's
like,
like
pinch
super
the
thick.
ends.
Yeah, the paper is super thick, so if you did it, it'd be like yikers. But
Oh, I keep thinking back to like the Jackass movie where they're like going in between their toes and like they're in between their lips and just giving each other paper cuts.
I can't remember which one of those, but one of those made me throw up. It was something involving poop. I can't deal with poop on.
Was it the one where they had like the helmet with the tube and they farted into the tube and the person's head was stuck in the helmet?
That one definitely made me throw up. Yeah, that one definitely
That one
made me throw up. That one. I think there was a one where the guy's ass was painted like mountains, and then he like shits. There's like a diorama of like nature and like trains and shit, and then his ass is just like in it, but it's like painted green, and then he just like projectile shits, and I was just like, nope, I'm out.
I don't think I've ever had a rough time watching one of those movies.
It's just that. And to be fair, it's because I was like traumatized by a friend's older brother who made me watch Two Girls One Cup, and then I threw up in his bin.
I didn't think that was that bad.
Okay, you're questionable. So I'm gonna say that was the most traumatic thing I've ever watched. I don't know. I've seen some really fucked up shit, but that's the only one that's like really made me be sick. I've seen some really fucked up shit on the internet, which I won't go into.
I still think House of Air was a wild video. Great music video though.
Wait, what? House of?
Yeah, it's a song I discovered through some friends in college, and it's called House of Air. Great song, real catchy.
It's just the music video is questionable.
Yeah, it's a spicy video.
Okay.
It's not questionable. Like you could be into it. It's just like describing certain activities and things. But
you can send it to me. I don't know if I'll watch it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Avoidable?
We'll
okay, we can avoid it.
I mean, I don't think it'll be up your alley, personally.
Okay.
But the more we converse, it might be up your alley. But it's.
Are you saying up your alley
spicy.
is like a butt thing?
No.
Okay.
Me using innuendos, I would never.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on. I love saying that now.
On that note, I think we should end, because this is the time when you just have like random outbursts and develop Tourette's towards the end of the the end of the podcast.
Oh, come on.
What's all this then? Right. This has been episode 8, right? 8?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
Nailed it, dude. 2 more to go, and then we can give up, right? Because then we've hit the milestone? Question mark.
But then there's other milestones.
Right, if you've listened to this point in the podcast and you actually want us to continue with this past 10 episodes, let us know. Now we know if
Otherwise,
people actually listen.
Otherwise, we'll
big
end
brain.
next week.
Right, final words.
Oh, come on.
Okay, bye guys.
Dude, the Tourette's was real.
Magical.